Alright, we have reached the last video in Chapter 4 that deals specifically with favicons. What is a favicon? Well, a favicon, pronounced favicon or favicon depending on where you are, is a square version of a logo or an image that represents the website. Usually it's 16 by 16 pixels, but it can be scaled up. If an image being used is non-square, then it will be turned into a square. That does not mean that a super long image will be cut and have a squared portion of it shown. No, that means a super long image will be squeezed into a square shape. You can use PNG, JPEG, and GIF formats, but if you want it to work for older browsers, I highly recommend the .ico format. That is one of the ones that we did not cover in our image file type discussion, mainly because it's only used for favicons. So what exactly is required for a favicon? Well, the first thing is you want to make sure it's inside the head section of your page. You have an href, or the hypertext reference, also known as the file, using the exact same properties we learned when we inserted images. And also you want to have the rel, or the relationship of the item that's being loaded. Basically, you're telling the browser what this file is, in this case, icon. It should always be icon. That's how you tell the browser it's a favicon. So what exactly does a favicon look like in the code, and what does it do? Well, if you take a look on the left, this is some similar code to what we worked on before, and just has a standard h1, a p tag, stuff in the head, and it generates the stuff in the browser as expected. But if you look on the right, you see we have a link in the head section, and that loads a favicon and tells the href and the relative aspect of the item what it is. And if you take a look in the browser, you see a little airplane icon in the top left, as compared to the left image, where it's just a page with a dog ear on it. So in this case, you can tell the browser what favicon you want to use. This is great for sharing in bookmarks, sharing in browsers, knowing exactly what site you're on. If you have 200 tabs open in a browser, you want to know what tab you're clicking on. And in most cases, you have a favicon that can be used to determine exactly where and when you're going to click something. If you want to create your own favicon, there are plenty of free services online. You can either do it yourself or do it through one of these services. You can take your image, upload it into the service, and it'll automatically create a favicon for you to use. In this case, this butterfly was uploaded, and the pixelated version, or 16 by 16 square of it, has been created for me to use on my website. This also has a nice little preview about what it would look like on the website itself. Okay, so that's favicons. Please watch the Code With Me video to see exactly how these things can be used, and a good example of how browsers can be used to denote exactly what favicons can be used where you're clicking them. If you have any questions about favicons or anything in Chapter 4, please send me an email, hopefully with your files and your images and tags so I can help you debug it, or hit me up on Twitter and I'll get back to you the best way I know how, and after that we'll jump into Chapter 5.